in-depth, investigative. This is KXAN News Today.
Austin leaders have high hopes for the future of 6th Street. They believe people and cars can coexist in one of the city's most popular spots. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tom Miller. The first goal is keeping people moving to avoid late-night violence and illegal activity. And KXAN's Brianna Hollis looks at where this pilot program stands now and took to the street herself.
But there's some popularity in just standing in front of these clubs.
Is there anything you guys can do when it comes to, trying to filter people through? Does that have to be on the bars alone to kind of stop those crowds from gathering out there?
Well, I think it's incumbent upon them to assist with that, right? So we're there as well.
So I am down here on 6th Street, and I kind of want to change up the way that we've been telling this story. I've interviewed a lot of people who have a lot of strong opinions about the street opening back up to traffic, but today I wanted to go bar to bar to kind of play the numbers game and get a broader picture of how people feel. Hi, how's it going? How's it going? My name's Brianna. I'm a reporter with KXAN, working on a story today about the street reopening. I'm just kind of popping business to business.
It's a little bit of like a pain having to walk between intersections, and then you have the occasional, I'm not walking that far.
One of the bartenders I just chatted with brought up a perspective I haven't seen yet. He said that with the street closures and how condensed everything is with people waiting in line and whatnot, that's becoming confusing for people, and that's also causing some tension between bouncers and other door staff.
Kind of just makes it harder, but I could see the whole point of, safety first. We'll try this for now.
So even he had a bit of a mixed reaction, even though he has strong feelings on certain points, and there doesn't seem to be a general consensus overall at all of the businesses when it comes to how they feel about the street reopening. Some still iffy, some wanting to see more, some for, and some against.
And so it's really about how do we manage this and how do we get people used to the new way of doing things.
Brianna Hollis, KXAN News.
The city's going to close 6th Street to vehicles during South by Southwest, and we have asked Austin Police if they're going to go back to opening 6th Street to traffic on weekend nights after South by. We are still waiting to hear back on that. Going in depth on this, closing 6th Street, just the first phase of the plan to revitalize the entertainment district. City is working with an economic development organization to bring new businesses to that historic street. They're hoping to bring more people to this part of town during the day and early evening hours.
First warning weather with meteorologist Kristen Curry.
Well, good morning to you. Let's start with a look up in Williamson County. This is our Ewell Kubota weather camera there in Georgetown. Visibility on this Wednesday morning looks okay right now, but I do have a feeling that's going to change. Very similar to what played out yesterday and the morning before. Most of that fog is in our eastern counties now, but we'll make a run at the I-35 corridor later today. And really that's going to happen within the next few hours, but there is currently no dense fog advisory in place. So we'll watch these numbers right now, less than 2 miles out towards Fayette and Lee County. Temperatures on the milder side, most of us in the 50s, if not even 60s, currently waking up to 60 degrees here in Austin. It is very comfortable and it only gets better. Our high temperature close to 80 degrees. A lot of cloud cover hanging on for most of the day. Some breaks in the sun, breaks in the clouds to allow for sun, I should say, this afternoon. But there's a cold front moving in overnight, brings our temperatures down tomorrow, brings our wind speeds up. We'll talk more about those impacts coming up in your first warning forecast.
Thank you, Kristen. This morning, families are worried as deportation operations continue. The Hayes CISD School Board passing a resolution on this, reaffirming admission, safety, and privacy for all students and how to handle possible campus visits by ICE. Jayla Washington looks into what some students have experienced in the last few weeks.
On a typical Tuesday around the lunch hour, we met two moms at a gas station here in Buda.
They came one day and they were upset.
They shared stories from their high school and elementary students.
She was scared to go back to school.
Stories of their children's friends impacted by recent deportations.
They said, Mommy, a friend of ours were crying today at the cafeteria, and then the immigration took her dad.
A lot of parents were keeping their kids at home.
Yes.
All those in favor?
It's hearing about things like this that led the Hayes CISD School Board to pass a new resolution Monday.
And it's also important to acknowledge that You know, these kids attend our campuses, they play on our teams, they're in our clubs, they win awards, they make KCISD the special place that it is.
Motion carries.
In a 7-0 vote, the board reaffirmed admission, safety, and privacy for its students, and how to handle possible ICE campus visits. Some school board trustees, though,
I've wanted to be very careful about bringing politics into our school.
Had other concerns about taking this formal stance.
We don't need a resolution to say that we're going to do these things. I mean, that's where I'm struggling. I think this can be a slippery slope. I don't want to put a target on our back for the state of Texas.
Still, these two moms feel families need the weighted support.
It makes us feel protected, you know, because we have family members that still are, you know, impacted.
Jayla Washington, KXAN News.
The district superintendent says federal immigration officers have not shown up to campuses recently. District says there will be a designated person at the central office who will handle any possible situations like this, while making sure that the district is following the law. For some insight on this, teachers have a federal right to protect their students' information. This is possible under the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. That was established as federal law back in 1974. However, there are legal exceptions for court orders or subpoenas. Also, while students are only allowed to be released into the custody of a parent or someone authorized by the district, if there is a court order, ICE would be allowed to take a student if an agent is in possession of a warrant. Teachers can also be arrested for not complying with a warrant or a court order. Good morning. This is a live look outside from our Indeed domain tower camera. You see that flag there in the corner. Wind whipping around a little bit. Kristen has her forecast in just a bit as we kick off this Wednesday. After deadly flooding and freezing temperatures, President Trump has approved a major disaster declaration for Kentucky. We now know 21 people have died there. Federal funding is going to be going out to those areas impacted. You see the devastation in this video here. The money is including grants for temporary housing, home repairs, and other recovery efforts. The Kentucky governor called it a critical step forward. Hey, good morning. This is a live look from on top of the KXAN tower camera above the studio here in the West Campus neighborhood. Looking back at downtown, you can see clouds overhead. Your full forecast in just a bit, but first, scientists are exploring black holes, diving into the power of memory too. Just a couple of the highlights from the University of Texas Science Festival. KXAN senior science reporter Eric Henriksen looks at the impact of bringing science to the masses.
A single photo.
I call this image of the black hole probably the most important image ever taken in the history of astronomy.
Breaking open our understanding of the universe.
The actual physics of where we live, of trying to integrate space and time, and it's the physical entity that which all of our models are based on.
Carl Gephardt's fascination with black holes is obvious, and he wants to share that excitement with others.
It's kind of crazy how they took telescopes around the whole Earth and they came together to make this crazy image.
He's one of the presenters, part of this year's Texas Science Festival. The festival aims to share the wonders of science with everyone.
Scientists make amazing discoveries all the time and are invested in understanding our natural world. And sometimes we aren't great at bringing that news to the public.
Dean of UT's College of Natural Science, David Vandenbout, says the festival is a great opportunity to connect scientists with the community.
It's so critical that we convey both the importance of the work to the general public, but also bring them into the kind of awe and wonder that is that discovery.
The Texas Science Festival is occurring across the state, from McDonald's Observatory in West Texas to downtown Austin to events here at UT's campus.
It's a really great chance to bring people into the university and let them see what's going on, but also a chance for us to get out into the community and bring our science directly to people.
Events occur now through March 1st. You can find a full listing of those events in this story on KXAN.com. In Austin, Eric Henriksen, KXAN News.
And the Texas Science Festival kicked off last Friday with a look at the future of school gardens. That event was followed by STEM Girl Day at UT. The university says more than 70,000 girls have participated in that event since it kicked off in 2001. Meteorologist Kristen Curry here with me as well. This is something
STEM
that's
girl.
near and dear to your heart.
It absolutely is.
And you do a lot of these classroom visits where you'll bring an experiment, you'll talk about the weather, and so you have sort of your own science festival.
I love the excitement that you see in the kids when it comes to the tornado in a bottle. I do that with the littles, usually the kinders in the first.
Show us tornado in a bottle.
I have it if you would like to see. It's very special. Okay, so what I tell the kids is you're going to see a tornado up top, you're going to see some rain underneath, and you're going to see a flood. And as soon as you see it, you have to point to it. And obviously this is just 2-liter bottles in water and food coloring, so you can actually see the tornado. So I'm going to flip it over. The tornado's going to be on this top one up here. Okay, so let me get it started. And once you see it, you have to point to it. There's my tornado in the bottle. The flood's on the bottom, the rain in the middle. This is a little taste of what I do when it comes to the school visits. And you know what? I tell them this is the only tornado you're allowed to look at without being in your tornado room. But it highlights the idea of a cone tornado that looks like an ice cream cone, a little bigger on the top and skinny on the bottom.
I'm sure that's a fan favorite.
It is a fan favorite, and it's easy to make too. So parents, if you're thinking, well, my kid's gonna love that. Soda bottles, right? Juice bottles, and then I bought this on Amazon, but duct tape will also work.
Right.
So
food coloring.
Something to think of. Food coloring and water. That's it. Cool. If you want to get really, adventurous with this, you can put glitter, you can put beads, you can put something in there to highlight the tornado. So having a little fun with some science on this Wednesday. I like it. Let me show you what's going on with your forecast here. Clouds and radar, not going to show anything. That's the nice thing is we don't have any real tornadoes to worry about today. In fact, we're going to have a really nice day. Let's take you outside because I think this shot is just gorgeous here. This is actually our KXAN studio camera, and we've got at the moment dry skies, cloud cover, and those clouds are pretty high up top right now, but I do anticipate them to lower. We're probably going to see some fog development here over the next couple of hours. 60 degrees, southerly winds at 5 miles per hour, visibility clearly a problem in our eastern counties. Shouldn't surprise you. We saw this yesterday and the day before. But right now, visibility down in Giddings, LaGrange, and Flatonia. We've got great visibility here in the Austin Metro as well as the Hill Country. But again, I do anticipate that to come down once we get closer to sunrise. How about these numbers? 50s to start. Low 70s by lunchtime, forecast high 79 degrees. It's going to feel very nice today, even warmer than what we had yesterday. Here's a look at those forecast highs across Central Texas. Warmer out in the Hill Country because of some drier air. But everybody's warmer than average. We should be at 69 right now. For this time of year, we are going to be far above that today. Even by lunchtime, I expect us to be surpassing that. How about these clouds? Well, we've got some cloud cover this morning. As far as this drizzle chance, I'm not buying that. I don't think that's going to be something that we'll see today. However, once we get into tomorrow, so not today, but tomorrow morning, there's going to be a cold front that comes in. It's pretty weak. There's not a whole lot of moisture to work with, very limited, but we could see just a 10% chance of a very isolated sprinkle or two once we get into tomorrow morning. I think the gusty winds and the cooler temperatures will be more prominent as far as impacts go, but even that doesn't look to be a big deal. The temperatures come down to the upper 60s. That's where we should be for the end of February. We're just so warm ahead of it that a good, 5 to 10 degree drop in those temperatures is pretty noticeable. We get right back into the 70s though Friday into the weekend. So that cool down is a one-day deal. Let's talk about the weekend because maybe a good update for you. The rain chance that we were sort of thinking on Sunday no longer exists for Central Texas because the storm I think is going to be too far north, meaning the rain chances will go up in the Panhandle. We have dropped that rain chance out of the forecast Sunday. However, late Monday into Tuesday, we've added that rain chance. And this was something we hinted at yesterday. I think this is becoming more likely for us getting into next week. There's going to be a little disturbance that crosses over, probably sends down a cold front late in the day, Tuesday into Wednesday of next week. So your 7-day forecast shows highs in the upper 70s today. Cold front moves in overnight. We've got some gusty winds, very minor rain chance. Nothing that I would get excited over. Temperatures in the upper 60s. We get back to the 70s Friday, Saturday. You're noticing we do get a little cooler in the morning in the 40s by Friday, but not expected to freeze. We take a mix of sun and clouds Sunday into Monday. Low rain chances now Monday into Tuesday with temperatures back into the 80s. By Tuesday, and it does look like we'll keep that near normal to warmer than normal temperature outlook all the way through that second week of March.
The City of Austin Watershed Protection Department is conducting its annual flood safety video contest, and joining me this year again to talk about it is Vicki Pugh. Vicki is the Community Engagement Specialist with Watershed Protection. Vicki, thanks for being with us. What are we asking from our video journalists this year?
Well, Rich, thanks again for having me this year. This year, we're asking the same thing that we've asked in previous years. We're looking for a 1-minute PSA video talking about safety, flood safety, and also ways to stay safe in a flood event.
Who is eligible to participate in the contest?
Participants we're asking this year will be school-age students from 6th grade to 12th grade.
Is there anything in particular in the video that they are supplying that has to be in the video in order to be eligible?
Absolutely, Rich. One of the criteria for this 1-minute PSA is we're asking our students to make sure you have turn around, don't drown. That's such an important message. I know that we've heard it for many, many years, but we're asking our students to be as creative as they possibly can by relaying the message of turn around, don't drown.
The absolute deadline for submissions is going to be when?
The absolute deadline is March the 31st.
Now, Vicki, when will the winners be announced and how will they be celebrated?
Winners will be announced April the 21st. And Rich, I'm not sure if you're aware, but April the 21st through April the 26th here in Austin, Texas, is Flood Safety Awareness Week. So that Saturday, April the 26th, there will be a ceremony at L.L. Campbell Elementary School in Austin, Texas at 2613 Rogers Avenue in Austin on April the 26th at 1 o'clock. But there's a little bonus to that too, Rich. L.L. Campbell Elementary School is having their carnival, their spring carnival that day. So Watershed Protection Department, we're collaborating with L.L. Campbell Elementary School during their carnival to also talk about the ceremony and to announce the winners for the flood safety video contest this year. So we're super excited.
Vicki, thank you very much. And I hope the contest again is a huge success.
Well, we appreciate your support, Rich. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
This is KXAN Sports, brought to you by Thomas J. Henry.
Good morning, all, and happy Wednesday. Last Tuesday, Texas baseball was supposed to play at home against Houston. Didn't go so well because of weather. Had to cancel that game. Yesterday, this past Tuesday, it was pleasant and warm, so no cancellation. They get the game actually underway. A beautiful evening over at Dish Falk Field. We'll start in the bottom of the first. Adrian Rodriguez, this outstanding freshman, just serves that one the other way like a little scoop of ice cream. And Ethan Mendoza come on home to score. Longhorns go in front 1-0. More where that came from, but first, some defense. Jalen Flores in the hole here. Man, it's got to feel good to have an arm like that. Guns out the runner and a little roar from number one, and the Texas defense and pitching staff was dominant a night ago. Then the offense wakes up more late. Rylan Galvan, Apo Taco, whatever that is, and Texas starting to feel good. Then the very next batter, more of that good energy going. It's Ethan Mendoza, not a big guy, but man, he's got some pop in that bat into the Yeti yard. Everyone's happy. There's some Bud Lights going up in the air, and yeah, people jumping on the fence. It always gets active out there with a home run. Texas rolls to a win at home over Incarnate Word. Also a night ago, Liberty Hill girls basketball playing in the state semifinals. Spot in the state championship online. They were down in the second half, but here's Evelyn Bruce, a floater to cut it to 2. Then now Liberty Hill with a lead over in College Station, and Gabriella Mundy on the fast break gets this one to go, and they started to really pull away after that thanks to some great defense as well. They never look back, and the Liberty Hill Panthers make it to state 43-33 in the Battle of the Hills over Barbers Hill. They'll play Saturday at 11, looking to claim that championship crown against Lubbock Monterey. Also, Georgetown girls basketball sees their season come to a close a night ago, but congrats to the Eagles on a great season. They fall in the state semifinals. That's it for us. We'll send it back over to you.
Thank you, Noah. Coming up, major changes coming to how Austin lets you rent out your home. If you're listening on the KXAN Today podcast, thanks for joining us for that. Hope you'll be on our air to watch, or you can go to our website, KXAN.com.